our technology to kill another human being, period. I am a man of God. I am a servant. Um, as a servant, that's why I have a foundation to help people with mental health concerns as well as cancer concerns. I'm a chemo buddy, and I'm proud to do that because I think everybody has been touched in some way or another, either by themselves or by people that they know, by cancer. And so I help people with enjoying life, is what we do. Welcome to the Get to Know broadcast. And I am like thrilled that you are here. This is a show that will educate you, and I do these shows really for myself, to be honest, so that I can learn, so that I can grow and apply the principles to my life so that I can become more successful, learn things. And so that's why you're here. This is the first broadcast back in a few years, and I just want to thank everybody that's taking time to come and join me this morning. This morning, see, already messing up, but it's okay because you know what? I was told this: if you want to do live video, you just need to go do it. I So I do. And if there's a mistake, well, guess what? It's because it's live and there's a mistake. All right. So tonight we're going to meet Christine Malek, and she is really super awesome. I'm just so blessed to know her and to be able to bring this broadcast to you. And so, bottom line is, I'm going to bring her on, let her tell her story, and feel free to reach out to her if you're interested in what she does. She is a coach, and we're going to be talking about domestic abuse. She is super, and this it does touch my heart because I've been abused personally. I mean, it's not normal that men are, but I was. So she's going to help me. That's what I said. That's why I do these shows. So let me bring her on without further ado. Christine, welcome.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
You're very, very welcome. You're welcome. So, gosh, I just tell you, this is exciting. I would love for you to just tell us about you. Where are you located right now? What are you, where are you living? And then you could go further and just say, well, this is what I do.
Okay. That's the easy part.
Right.
Okay. I am currently in I'm in Tennessee. And I'm in a little town about halfway between Knoxville and Nashville. I kind of jokingly do and I don't say that the cow population here is probably a 10 to 1 to humans. That's how small town it is. I live on 5 acres. I live with my daughter, her boyfriend, and my two beautiful grandchildren. They have 6 dogs, 3 cats, 1 sheep, and about 30 chickens. So it's a full-time job for everybody to take care of the farm, the animals, the kids. My grandkids are 2 and 4, and they are just absolutely beautiful. What I do a lot. I do a lot. I am a
That
coach. I am a speaker. I also have, it's on hold for the moment, but I do also have my own podcast, Talking Sassy About Abuse. Um, I am working on a nonprofit. That's my biggest one. So the nonprofit is, I say it's shelters on steroids, okay? Because this nonprofit, they're buildings that I'm calling Sassy Villages, that they are buildings all across the world that I'm working to build that will house and help women and men of abuse and domestic violence have a place to go, but not
Wow.
just a place to go. It's a place for them to heal, to learn. These buildings will be almost 100% self-sufficient, meaning every employee, volunteer, and of course the residents will take part in somehow being responsible for that building. There'll be coaching, there'll be childcare, food, clothing, of course the shelter itself. Safety is like top priority. But it's going to be designed completely different. I have been working on this for about 4 years now. There's not much that I have not thought about with these shelters, this SASSI Village. So that's my biggest project right now.
I tell you, that is really super awesome, and we have a similar kind of story there because I would like to do the same thing, and what I've realized is that, boy, it's a chore to do that. But yes, I would like to give people the opportunity to have a place to stay, particularly the homeless people. I think that's the very first thing you can do for them. Get them
Absolutely.
into a shelter, because when you have that, well, a roof, running water is always a good thing. And, just having a house is a great opportunity, but this sounds like it's going to be very structured. So it sounds like you put a lot of thought
Oh,
into that.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's, like I said, there's not much. I've had people, potential board members say, well, what about this? I'm like, oh, great idea. Let's write that down. How do we take care of that? How do we address it? Or they've come to me and said, well, what about this, this, and this? Already on the list. Got it covered. Like there really is not much that I have not taken into consideration with these shelters. I want every man and woman that walks into that shelter to feel, and I say it's a shelter, okay, because it is, but it's shelter on steroids. But I want them to feel loved, healed, and the biggest thing, Stephen, is safe. Okay, that they don't have to have that. Do I go back to my abuser? Do I live in my car? I don't want men and women to have that. I don't want them to have that. I don't want them to be faced with that. I want them to say, you know what? I know where there's a SASSI Village. I'm going to check it out. And when they walk through those doors, they can finally go and breathe and start to heal.
I think that supporting a person that goes into the shelter is critical. And so that takes special people to be able to give them the type of care that they need. I mean, it could be multiple different aspects of the needs that they might require. So how
yes.
does that play into what you're working on?
Okay, so one of the biggest things when you go through an abusive situation, especially for women if they have to, and men actually, and there is no break anymore. Let me tell you the current statistics until 2024's statistics come out. As of 2023, 1 in 3 women are experiencing abuse. I'm sorry. Yes, 1 in 3 women are experiencing abuse and domestic violence.
Wow.
1 in 4 men. 1 in 4 men are experiencing
too, because you will recall, I've been on the other end of that stick, and I've made mistakes in my life. Some of you might know that, but the bottom line is I have, but that I learned from them, and that's what's beautiful now. Because back in the day, I did not learn. So learning from your mistakes is a really important factor. What would you say brought you to decide this is what you wanted to do?
That's a great question. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, I kind of know, so I don't want to put.
I know, but let's. No. I tell this story very openly, and that's one of the things that I am very much an advocate for. Okay, is to be open and honest about what happened to me. Okay,
right.
I don't sugarcoat it in any way possible. So I'll just state the facts. So I discovered in my 30s that I was molested by a family member until I was 4 or 5 years old. I was raped by an uncle at 12 or 13. I have been raped numerous times, too many to count, gang raped several times throughout my life. I have been abducted 3 times, and the third time was extremely. It was bad. He held me for about 4 or 5 days, drugged me, tied me up, had me do things that I will never speak about. That's probably the only thing I will never speak about because they're just too horrific. Was raised by a narcissistic father. My first marriage was probably borderline narcissistic. And my second last husband right now, he was the worst. He was the one that, with him, and throughout my whole life, I have attempted suicide at least a half a dozen times because of all that I had gone through. Didn't realize it, okay, but I have attempted suicide at least a half a dozen times. With that last former husband, he hit every form of abuse possible, every form: psychological, sexual, verbal, mental, physical. The physical, I've had black eyes, bruises all over my body, choke marks on my neck, scratches, scrapes, you name it. He took a rubber mallet to me once, broke my wrist, cracked 3 of my ribs, and in 2015, he shot me in the back of the head. I should not be here. I ended up, through everything else that I've been through in 2016 and 2017, I ended up in the hospital, in and out for almost a year, because the alcoholism was the only way to numb the pain, not just the physical, and really not the physical at all. It was all that mental abuse that I had endured, the psychological abuse that I had endured. I ended up in the hospital, died on the operating table twice. I should not be here. I should not be here. And I discovered.
Why do you think you are here? Seriously, why?
Because of this mission, because of this purpose, this purpose of my final purpose is the place that I go, and everything I do is to totally eradicate abuse and domestic violence, to make it non-existent. I want our children and our children's children and our grandchildren's children's children. I want them all to not know what those two, abuse and domestic violence, I want them to not even know what those words are. And that's what I work towards because of what I endured. And I want no other person, woman or man, to go through what I went through. So that's what I fight for every day.
That is awesome. And, I do find, at least for myself, I found my purpose through my pain. And it sounds like you did the same thing, right? Wow.
Yes.
It's powerful, isn't it? Because I think that when we experience a situation, a painful situation, that we're able to then help other people better than somebody that just studied in a school and read the book. And I've been experienced that down the line too. It's like, what? How do you know what I've been through? Yeah, because he hadn't lived it. So that's
School of Hard Knocks is what we call that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're both here though, because obviously
me too.
You didn't just quit.
Nope.
And so that I think is commendable. And what do you think was the reason? Because you said that you were ready to quit a few times.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What was that turning point, do you think, then, that took you from wanting to quit to deciding, you know what, this is my purpose and I want to help people? What do you think was
it was the day after. It was the day after he shot me in the head. Okay. Oh. Yeah. And I did not seek medical attention. Okay. So I ended up, going to sleep that night. The next morning I got up and I remember looking in the mirror, and my hair was very long at that point. Okay. It was always pulled out in clumps, but my hair was extremely long down to the middle of my back. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror, dried blood all over here, a big open gap of hair gone at the top of my head. The pain, ow, But I remember looking in the mirror and go, who is that woman? That woman would not allow this to happen. And I looked and I said, okay, you know what? Something's got to give. Something's got to give. I cannot keep living my life. By that time, it was 4 years of dealing with abuse from him.
Wow.
And I said, something's got to give. And I think it was at that point when it's funny because this morning while I was getting ready for my day, 3 words came to me. And I know it's from my higher power and my angels. 3 words came to me, Stephen. Hope, willpower, and faith. And at that point, the day after you get shot in the head, you don't believe in a God anymore, okay? But there was something there. I mean, I kiddingly, I would tell everybody I'm a retired Catholic. I don't have a religion anymore, okay? Because what God allows that to happen, okay? But that day after, hope gave me the willpower to continue my faith and fight and figure out how to get out of the situation. And it's those 3 words that hope, willpower, and faith. And they have been phenomenal in my life. Phenomenal.
What would you say your superpower is? All those 3 or one in particular?
I'm not a quitter. I've had a lot of people tell me, you're crazy, Christine, for doing the nonprofit. You're crazy for speaking so loud. You're crazy for wanting to tell your story. You're crazy for, everything that I do, doing a podcast, being a speaker, being a writer, everything, being this advocate. I'm an international advocate against abuse and domestic violence. Okay. Wow. I can't quit. It's because of that passion that I know this is my passion. This is my legacy.
I was going to say,
going forward.
You're creating legacy. How did your family fit into that picture?
What family?
Well, yeah.
All right. So during, kiddingly, I say that. So, but during this very abusive time, part of the psychological abuse is that you lose family. Okay. Even though I had 3 young adult children, and I still do. But at the time, we drifted apart. Okay. The ex-husband was really good at manipulating relationships, outside relationships, so that I became completely dependent upon him for everything, not just physical, not just, food, clothing, shelter, not just those things. Okay. But dependent on him psychologically. So my kids, when I finally did leave and I did finally say, okay, enough is enough. I'm done. I'm done. And that was in 2018. Okay. And I had to go through 2015, the gunshot wound, and a year in and out of the hospital, 16 and 17, 4 surgeries, 15 procedures.
Wow.
They removed my gallbladder, my appendix, part of my colon, part of my left fallopian tube. Part of my colon, part of my intestine, and my whole left fallopian tube, because of so much infection raging through my body. Now I had in still having some of that faith, okay, and the willpower. I would look up, okay, and into a God I didn't believe in, say, either put me in the ground or put me in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And he put me in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was afterwards when I finally got enough courage, okay, to say enough is enough. And there's the door, and I don't want to see you anymore. And everything that I had to deal with after the effects of all that. But I
Right.
went to my kids and I said, hey, here's what happened. My kids actually said, you know, Mom, we suspected something. And like right there, it hit that I went, that's part of what I need to fix, what I need to change is so not only do I help the abused person, okay, whether
Mhm.
it's a woman of abuse or a man of abuse, but now I also talk about friends, family, recognizing those signs. You know, how do you approach someone that you think may be being abused and you don't know what to say? So now I teach about it, I coach about it, I talk about it. You know, I mean, sometimes it's as simple as stick them in the car, go for a drive down the highway. They're a captive audience, they can't leave, and it doesn't get figured out and talked about, and the car doesn't stop until now it's got to be done with love, and you can't be, you know, obviously it's a person of abuse. So you get it's, you know, you got to be really careful how you do this, okay? But it can
Right.
be done. I mean, you can definitely approach it with love and care and say, "Listen, these are the signs that I'm seeing. I'm here for you to listen. We can figure this out. What is going on? How can I help you?" Never say, "Are you okay?" Because that person of abuse will always say, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." So,
Right.
how can I help? What can I do to help you? Who can we talk to? You know, I mean, we have police stations, we have
Mhm.
priests, clergy, all the religions, um, professors, teachers. I mean, there are more and more people out there getting trained. Hairdressers, surprisingly, hairdressers are being trained in how to recognize the signs of abuse on somebody. Okay, because they're right
Mm.
there. They're on your. They're just taking care of your hair. They may see bruises back here. They may see the
Mhm.
makeup cover marks, you know, on something
Right.
here, or you know. So everybody's starting little by little to get trained on how to recognize. If you don't know, reach out to somebody like me, you know, find a coach like me and say, hey, I think I have a friend that's being abused. What do I do? And I'd be more than happy. I give this advice away free all the time.
That's awesome. Yeah. Now you said you have a foundation. Have you
I'm
created a
still working.
501c
Yeah,
or
no, I
working on
still
that?
still work. Yeah, still working on it. There's a few things that I'm still, you know, all the pieces coming together, but it's so
Yeah.
close. It is so close. I
Yeah.
can't wait. Yeah, it's really close.
Well, I mean, I'm blessed. I do have a 501c3, and I
Wow.
tell you, wow, that was a lot of work. It sure was. You know,
Right?
then like the anxiety of, "Oh, am I gonna get it?" And but boy, it did. It took a tremendous amount of research and then
Yep.
a whole lot of writing. And
Yep.
yeah, so it is a great thing. I really that would be helpful for you as well
Yes.
to be
Yes.
able to do that because then you can give people
Yeah,
a tax break too, if they
yeah,
when they
exactly,
donate.
exactly.
Not
Well,
pay
not only
break.
that, but we're talking yeah, well, not only that, Stephen, but we're talking huge buildings. We're talking about
Yeah,
buildings like, I mean, picture a hotel, okay?
right.
An abandoned hotel or an
Yeah.
abandoned school or, you know, a building that might have been for retail, you know, several retail spots. We're talking huge buildings, okay? When I
Yeah.
get there and I have to ask for a lot of money, okay?
Hmm.
We're
Yeah.
talking renovation on these buildings, heating,
Yeah.
air conditioning, electrical, you know, getting it up to code. There's a lot of money involved.
There
We're
is.
talking millions to be able to do a decent building. Because not only that, but we need lighting, security. I need full time security guards on duty. Okay, because we want that woman or man coming in there into that building to feel completely safe. It
You
has to
said that.
be a safe space.
Yes, and I think that is important that they feel safe, and
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot of housing, I'll call it a project, but they and I think that they all are all some kind of buddies project, but, that, will take people in, but the circumstances aren't so great, you know? And, but
exactly.
that's where you you don't wanna just be a number for somebody,
No,
and
no.
yeah, that's
And I don't want that person to ever feel like they have to go back to that abuser. We cannot break the cycle if that person is continually going back. And unfortunately, that is what happened. Even in today, okay, if I decided, let's say I was in that situation and I left and I went to a shelter, a regular shelter that's out there,
Yeah.
either one, I hope there's room. Okay, that's a big one. Two, now I'm sharing space with somebody I don't know. Okay, where all of my SASSI villages everybody will have their own room. It's like little apartments inside this building. Okay, so that you can still feel safe. So, even if I'm there temporarily. Okay, and I'm pushed to, get get a job,
Mhm.
again, I'm there. It's a really temporary, 30 days, 60 max. I mean, you're not there very long.
Okay.
So I want people to be able to have that time and space. Now, not only are they in these buildings to heal, but it's a 13-week program to take what I developed in healing is the SASSI Academy. It's the type of coaching that I do. It is an extremely intense, but remember, there's childcare, there's pet care, there's a place for your vehicle if you have one. We plan on having rideshare service available. Healthcare. Suppose it's 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and a woman comes knocking on the door, and she's all bloody and bruised. So we need to get her to the hospital. We need to document everything. Okay. So I mean, even that. The other side of that is to have attorneys and lawyers that are fully aware of how this system works. Okay, not just for women, but for men as well. Okay, so that they can fight the justice system, so that we are not abused again by our system, because
Right.
it's a foul system. It really is.
Yeah, I think
I've been through it. Okay, and if somebody had been an advocate for me when I had to go through it, okay,
right.
I would have learned a whole lot more, and I didn't. So that's another one of those. I thought about everything, and I want attorneys and lawyers on staff, to be, unpaid, that they do it pro bono,
Mhm.
and they can fight for these women and men to have their human civil rights restored that we
Right.
lose by being in an abusive situation.
Right. Because I know in my
Can you tell?
situation. Hmm?
Sorry, I was
What?
gonna say, can you tell I'm passionate about this?
I can tell you are. And see, that's great. It takes passion to make things happen, doesn't it?
It does. It
It
does.
does. And I recognize what you're talking about, because I mean, I felt kind of in the same situation, because I mean, I went to jail a few times because my girlfriend at the time lied to the police, and who are they going to believe? Well, the woman. And even though,
Stephen, I run a private men's group, okay, on WhatsApp,
right.
and
Yeah.
those men are dealing with almost the exact same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, not only these men are in the States, these men are over in the UK, these men are over in Ireland. I mean, they are all across the world that came into this group that are dealing with that exact same thing. That woman is, and I'm a woman. I get it. Okay.
Right.
But that woman lied and then will
Yeah.
use children against the
Oh, yeah.
father. That's the part that, because they have no idea what they're doing to those kids. It's another form of abuse for those children. And
Yeah.
that really gets my goat. Yeah.
I relate to that. I do, because in my case, there was a lot of men there that needed support, and all were there under false pretenses. Like, well, holy cow,
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah.
on with that? So,
Yeah.
yes, I think the system is flawed when you
It is.
believe people that put people in jail over and over and over again.
Yeah, and
And
just because the man is 6 foot tall and she's 5'1", okay, does not mean. And that's the part that most people, when they hear the word abuse and domestic violence, they
yeah,
automatically think physical.
yes,
But 9 times out of 10, that abuse that's suffered by the man, by the male partner from that
right,
female partner, is not physical. It is usually psychological, verbal, mental, or narcissistic. And let's remember that narcissism is a form of abuse. Okay.
Yeah.
But our law enforcement out there, and they're getting better. Okay. But law enforcement out there automatically presumes, now, not to say that women do not get physical, they do. Women
Mm-hmm.
get physical. They will push, shove, bite, kick. I mean, we will do what we need to. Okay.
Right. That's understandable.
Right. But the law enforcement out there takes the woman's side without hearing both sides. They can't play judge, and they do, because
Yes.
our norm has always been that the man, because the statistics even before COVID, the statistics were one in 4 women will experience abuse in their lifetime before COVID.
Yeah.
Before COVID, 1 in 7 men will experience abuse or domestic violence in their lifetime. That has changed because of COVID. Okay.
Right.
Now it went from will be or will experience in their lifetime to 1 in 3 are, 1 in
Mm-hmm.
4 are.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's a very distinct.
Yeah, that is very distinct. You're correct. And I know that COVID created a lot of problems for people. The suicide rate went up. Everything went up, including our
Yeah.
groceries. But mental health admissions, and you brought it up. Can you even get in? And so if you can't get in right away, what happens next? Well, you're homeless most likely.
Yeah.
And so we do. I try my part, but we as a community need to pull together, because that's, I
Yes.
think, the team effort that it would take, right?
Yes.
Very powerful tonight. I hope you folks are really enjoying this from the aspect of we're bringing out the issues that I think need to be addressed, because they haven't been addressed, and we need support, to do that, because we can't just do it all on our own.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it. It had deep pitting in it. There were chips. I, quite frankly, thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
Our technology to kill another human being, period. I am a man of God. I am a servant. As a servant, that's why I have a foundation to help people with mental health concerns, as well as cancer concerns. I'm a chemo buddy, and I'm proud to do that, because I think everybody has been touched in some way or another, either by themselves or by people that they know, by cancer. And so I help people with enjoying life is what we do. And that's what's really awesome. So I'm just curious, what do you think makes a successful person?
Perseverance. Okay, it's not always money. I mean, clearly, because if you look at lottery winners, okay, that have had money, they squander it, they spend it, it goes away, and they're worse off than before they won the lottery. So it's not, success is not always money. For me, success is measured by the human life that I touch, the human being that I make a difference for. That woman that I can say she's okay. She's got tools, tips, strategies now. Okay. The woman that I healed, the men that I talk to in my group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When I know they're this close to committing suicide and go, you know what, Christine, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to promise you right now that I will not do it. Great. Thank you. Because every life matters. Every life matters.
Right.
To me, that's my success. That's my success. Okay. Is that one life, that one person can have just that tiny little bit of shift in how they think, how they feel, how they act, to know they're heard. That's all, you know, most of these people want is just to be heard, to be loved. That's what I do. That's my success.
Say that because I think that is the key, because people don't feel they're loved. I didn't feel that I was loved in some way, certainly by the ex-girlfriend that put me in jail all those times. But
Right.
well, she loved to do it. Yeah, she did. You know, but you know, it was
It's a
like,
shame, Stephen. I'm sorry you went through that. I really am. I'm sorry you went through that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, what I'm able to do though is like I accept it. I always say acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. That's an AA thing, but you probably may have heard of it. So yes, but
yeah,
it is.
clean and sober, honey. 8+ years. So yeah, I'm good.
Oh yeah, you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, so it is important, and you know, page 417 out of that big book. I mean, I love that because I, of course, got the opportunity to study the big book. And so, I mean, the whole book is just wonderful, and it gives you the toolbox that we need to have to be able to potentially overcome and either, you know, drugs or alcohol, whichever one. It doesn't really make a difference. And you know what? Addictions can be about anything, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when I first went into AA, I was like, why are we not teaching young adults about this? These are life skills. I mean, it doesn't have to be, we can alter them a little bit, okay, based on the life of a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
So many problems would not even occur if young adults had that knowledge from the book.
Right.
Yep.
I agree 100% because, and so I did get to the opportunity to learn a lot, and I am sober now today, and that is, I liked being sober. You know, I thought,
right?
You know, I mean, I don't want to be where I can't think about what's next thing, and yet you don't feel like that at the time, right? It's like, oh, I got things under control. Maybe,
yeah, you do.
my own mind, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
how many times I went into work still drunk from the night before, okay? Yeah. And the fact that I made it as many days that I did, and I'm talking a 20-minute drive one way, okay? The fact that that alone told me when the light bulb finally went off on that I was like, oh, you know what? That's a higher power. That's a higher power.
Yeah, and I agree with that 1,000%, because I know that there was only one way I got sober, and it was to turn it over and allow, you know, your higher power. I mean, I call mine God, but to take it away from me, and he has, and it's like it's all gone, and it's like, well, how did that happen? Well, that's the only reason it happened, because I couldn't do it by myself. Never.
Nope.
You know,
me neither.
I tried that, what, 1,000 or so times to consider, you know, relapse. It's like, wow.
Oh yeah. Been
Yeah,
there, I know.
I know. It's so awesome. Really relate on a lot of topics, and that's what's good is that we share what we know to help to educate others. And when
Yes,
we help to educate others, hopefully they don't make the same choices that we did. And I
right.
mean, you went through some devastating experiences. Yeah, I'm sure you've been told that several times. But that's what, like, wow, and the fact that you can talk about it and that you're okay today, you know, is,
It took a lot of work. It took a
yeah,
lot of work. I
yeah,
don't want anybody to misunderstand, okay, that it wasn't something that happened overnight either. I didn't go, one day I'm this, and then the next day, oh, I'm healed. Oh, no, no,
right,
no, no.
right,
It was a
right.
lot of work. It was a lot of self-discovery. It was a lot of there were a lot of days of crying and healing and addressing not what was wrong with me, but
Mhm.
addressing where I could have done better, okay, and how I could have. And yeah, there was a lot of going back into my past and going, okay, well, that wasn't my fault, but oh, well, now I see where all of this comes from, to
Right.
actually address the past and what I grew up with and the things that had happened to me. But yeah, I just want everybody listening to understand that this was not an overnight thing. It was not a week thing. It was not a
Right.
weekend retreat. I mean, it does not happen like that. You talk to anybody who's actually, and I do say actually fully healed because I have talked to other podcasters, coaches,
Mhm.
just other women that say, "Oh yeah, I'm healed," and you talk to them and you go, "No, you're not. I can tell you're not healed." Okay,
Right.
you're going to repeat some of those relationships that to address it. You're gonna have those relationships. So it's not. I mean, you talk to anybody who has really, really healed from this and taken the time. I mean, it took me years to
Mhm.
heal every aspect of my previous life and what I had gone through. And I mean, it really is when you're in the relationship that I was. I kiddingly but not say that it's the Stockholm syndrome. You truly start to believe that everything that abuser tells you, okay?
Mhm.
Because it's not, again, it's not just he says, okay, so my ex he was famous for he would say, "You stupid bitch." Okay, and excuse my French, but that was his go-to phrase. Okay,
Right.
and everybody, like it could be even the newscaster on TV to the woman driving in her car the opposite direction of him. I mean, it didn't matter to a woman in the grocery. It didn't matter. Every woman was that. Okay, and I heard it so many times throughout the day, every day, every day. Okay, no matter what it was. I mean, it could have been something really simple that I dropped the fork, okay, didn't fold a piece of laundry the right way.
So
Um,
you're saying
and
that his he made you feel bad about yourself, right?
oh
And kinda
yes,
like,
oh
well,
yes,
you're okay. Yeah.
oh yes, oh yeah. That's the psychological abuse. Okay,
Right.
that's that's why I refer to it as the Stockholm syndrome because
Right.
you really start to believe everything he tells you, everything that abuser tells you. You question everything about yourself. You know,
Mhm.
am I not smart? Am I crazy? Am I really? Did I not hear that? Was this not told? I mean, everything. You question everything.
I think for myself, this, of course, is not about me, but I have learned some things, and we're kind of on the same wavelengths here. Is that I did have to look at myself, and then I did have to be honest with myself. And I also realized that a lot of the things that I learned that I thought were the truth weren't the truth, you know? And then I had to retrain my whole thinking so that I could get to like, oh, I'm okay because yes, they were bad. Yes, I experienced bad. Yes, I gave bad in some cases, certainly
Yep.
to my family, you know.
Yep.
Thank God I still talk to them and they talk to me. It's like good. But yes, my thinking was messed up. And so I did have to work on that thinking. So
Yeah.
what would you say is probably, let's just say 3, because I like that number 2. 3 things that you would recommend to the viewers that they should consider.
That's easy. That's easy. Okay, so one of the things that I always say is there are 3 words in the English language that are the hardest to say. But when you put these 3 words together in the correct order, your life will transform. And they are, I need help. They're so simple,
Yeah.
but yet so profound.
Mhm.
When I finally said, I need help, I was amazed at how many people, online friends and family, okay, that were there and said, okay, what can we do? How can we help you? What do you need help with? We don't realize that because of being so isolated, that there really are people out there that care for us, that love us,
Mhm.
and that
It's
want to help us. So that's number 1. Number 2,
okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I'm loving it. That's what, and I'm learning, and that's the whole idea, that we have the opportunity to learn, and so I do too. All right. So the first thing is I need help, and that
I
is a
need help.
powerful.
It
To
is.
admit that somebody needs help is like, oh, what are they going to think now? Thing, but boy,
Yeah.
it's a statement of strength.
It
I
is.
believe.
It really is. It seems like you're coming from a place of weakness and vulnerability, but it is so powerful. You will be amazed at how many people are there that want to help you. Okay.
Mhm.
Whether it be your family and sometimes it's family that abuses us. So we have to go to, outside our friends and family and people at work. Just ask. You'll find somebody. You'll find lots of somebodies that are willing to help. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And honestly, Stephen, I lost my train of thought on 2 and
okay,
3.
you
So
were going to tell us 3 things, but those are
I
fun
know,
things.
I know. I know. That's what I'm saying. I
Oh,
lost my
yeah.
train of thought and I completely forgot what number 2 was going to be.
Okay, that's all right.
So, what was the question again? 3 things.
What are 3 things that you would recommend to the viewers that are watching the show tonight? You said that you would recommend that they come to the
Get
terms to
help.
say, I need help. Okay.
Yes,
What
yes,
else?
yes, yes. That's a big one. And I had another one and
And it's okay
it
because I
totally
do the same
escaped
thing.
me.
Yeah. What was
I
I
know,
talking
right? That's our age,
I guess you're right. I'll agree with that. So
Yeah, honestly, yeah, honestly, Stephen, I totally forget. I
it's
have
okay.
no idea what I was going to say. I've given a lot of information, and I've
You
probably
have.
given. Thank you.
You really have. So what
Just
do you do for fun? Can you answer that one?
what do I do
Tell
for
us
fun?
what you do for fun. You know?
For fun. Okay. For fun, I do play cards on Saturday night. I do play with my grandchildren. They really do keep me young. Like I said, they are 2 and 4. I taught both of them sign language. I mean, we're not having full blown conversations with sign language, but a few of those major words, please, thank you, sorry, hungry, thirsty, some of those, because my grandson was coming into, he's smart as a whip. He was, coming into starting to develop his language, and I wanted him to have that ability of 2 languages. So, I did teach him some of and he's just, he's the 2 of them are, they keep me young. Okay. What else do I do for fun? Like I said, I play cards. I have a dog and a cat here with my daughter. They are one of them. I have a red bone coonhound and just a long-haired cat. Fun is writing. I love to write. I love to write, whether it's something for my business or some of the other places that I write. And sometimes it's just for fun. I am working on my book. I'm almost done with that, but I also want to write kind of like those murder mysteries. I love those kinds of books. So I'm kind of got a few things stirring in the pot on that one.
That's great. I love writing too. Interestingly enough, and I think writing and journaling is really important.
Yes,
And
it is.
Although I've done a lot of writing over the time, I've adopted a few things as resolutions, and one of them is writing in the journal. And I've never really done that, but I think it's an important factor. Is that something that you would recommend to your clients as well?
Absolutely anybody. Okay. And especially, let me tell you, especially men of abuse. Okay. Document everything, write in a journal. Okay. Everything she said, everything she did, no matter how trivial you think it is, write it down. That is going to be your, yes, not only to be able to get it out, okay, and that healing part of writing, to get it out,
Yes.
okay, but it's going to save your patootie if you need to go to court. Okay.
Well,
it is your physical evidence. When abuse is not physical and it is verbal, mental, and the psychological, that is your only proof that it actually happened. Write everything down. And yes, journal. I still journal to this day. I've been journaling. I can't tell you the amount of journals I finished. I mean, I journal every single day. Every single day.
So that's a really good advice for the viewers. If you're watching, just get a journal, get a piece of paper, start writing.
Yeah. Or even if it's on the computer,
Yeah. Other thing I recognized is when we write this stuff down, we can then go back to that and look at the progression of change from, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road. Wow, I was thinking like that, and I think that helps us as well.
I do that. I do that like towards the end of the year. I'll start, kind of go back to January, February, and do the same thing and read those. Wow, I've come far. Because sometimes we think, I'm not as far as I wanted to be. I'm not doing what I said I would, set out to do. And then I look back and go, oh, I actually did. I did that. Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, journaling is great. It's absolutely great.
You've done a lot of things, and I am so proud of you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
To come through what you've come through, have the positive attitudes that you do. It's just, I'm having a hard time putting a word to it because it's beyond stupendous. It's like powerful. See, I'm having a loss of words because it's that good. Some things are that good you just can't even put a word to it. So what would you
thank you.
Yeah. I really truly love you. I really appreciate the fact that you took time to come and join us tonight. I hope the viewers got something out of tonight. What I'd like to do is just have you leave us with what would you say to close us out?
Find your voice. And if you can't find it, Find your own voice. If you can't, then find somebody who can. Find somebody that can be your voice. Stay vigilant. Stay hopeful. Have your free will and your willpower, and have faith.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yes. You're so wonderful. And
Thank
we
you.
really hope that the viewers learn something, and maybe feel free to reach out to Christine.
Yes.
I mean, she's here. She's been through a lot. She's here to help people. And that's what's so awesome. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Very cool. Very cool. So, yeah, we appreciate everybody that took time to come and join us. You may or may not know this is the LWN Media Productions. We're planning to release this to other outlets as well, so that you're able to go back if you're just catching it on a replay or you don't have time. Hey, we know, we understand, but you'll be able to go back. You'll watch it on E360 TV. You can go to Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple Android TV, download the E360 TV application. You can then watch this show. And I'd say, watch the whole show and enjoy yourself, learn something, and reach out to Christine. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stephen. This was awesome. Thank you. And I'm so glad to be here, I'm so glad you brought this back. I'm so glad you brought this back. And I
Thank
hope you have me back again.
I would.
I
I would be more than
I-
happy to have you back. You know,
I am right there. I will rearrange schedules if I have to, just to be here with you.
that's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you so very much, Christine. We thank all the viewers
You're
that took
welcome.
time to watch. And yeah,
Yes,
come
thank
on back.
you.
I'm planning on being back on Monday. So Monday
All
night,
right.
7 p.m. That's Eastern time. Christine's got broadcasts that she's doing on a regular basis and stuff. So yeah, check it out. She's on YouTube. We'll see you soon. Thank you. We love you. Have a good day. Bye.